So before we get started here today, I just want to thank everybody for being here. Hope you're enjoying the refreshments that's out in the lobby. Restrooms are right through this door to your right. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Heritage Hall on the campus of Murray State University. My name is Dave Winder, Associate AD for Media Relations for Murray State Athletics, and I am so excited to be gathered here with all of you today on campus. It's a big day as we introduce Dean Hood as the Racers' 19th head football coach. And it's days like today that I'm reminded that we all are indeed in the finest place that we know, Murray State University. And there's a lot of people in this room right now and a lot of people that are watching on our YouTube channel today live that feel the same pride as we all do here today for those of us that are lucky enough to be here in person. Now, as you came in today, and I'll tell our viewing audience too, one of the greatest things I've ever seen at a Murray State press conference is the jockey and Racer One out in the parking lot. Wow. And by the way, the jockey, it's her first official event after the tryouts were just completed. And congratulations to Emily Helmick. She's a junior from St. Charles, Missouri. And great to have Racer One here today. We were thinking about bringing Racer One around, but we thought, you know, we are indoors. Maybe we shouldn't do that. But I'm sure Racer One can handle it. Well, today we are welcoming Coach Hood into the Murray State family, and we're so happy to meet Crystal and all the kids and Coach Hood to have you here today. So without any further delay, let's get our program started. We've got a few speakers here today, and then at the very end, of course, Coach Hood is going to make his first remarks as the head football coach at Murray State. We will have time for our media for a few questions afterwards. And then once we're done with that, we're going to try to squire Coach Hood away into the adjacent conference rooms for just a quick powwow one-on-one with our media. And during that time, I invite you to stay, meet the family, and just kind of hang out for a little bit, because as soon as we're done with that, and we promise it'll be very, very quick, we're going to bring Coach Hood back out here, because I know that's the reason you're here today, is to shake Coach Hood's hand and welcome him to Murray State. So that's what we're going to try to do here today as we go along. So let's bring up our president, Dr. Bob Jackson. He just was very busy this morning with graduation, and he's got a few opening remarks as we get going here today.
Hey, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. You know why Racer One is here today. When Coach Hood played Murray State in the past, he never got to see Racer One. So we wanted to make sure he got a chance to see Racer One today. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. You'll get it. But this is an exciting day for Racer Athletics and Murray State University, and it's fitting to be in this room, the Hall of Benefactors here in Heritage Hall. Cutchin Field. We've been playing football for about 100 years here, and we've had some wonderful teams and wonderful players and a lot of wonderful history at Murray State and with their Racers. But I want to start off and thank our faculty and staff. Many of you are here, supporters, donors, sponsors, season ticket holders, fans, alumni, and friends of this university and the athletic programs. And we appreciate it. And I want you to give yourself an applause. We've got several special guests here today. I know that A.D. Saul and others will recognize many of them. My wife Karen is over to the far left of me, so she's right over there. We have several regents here that I want to recognize as well. And I want you all to stand when I call your name. And I want us to recognize our regents, the governing body of this institution. So our chair of our board, Dan Kemp, our vice chair, Jerry Rhodes. You're going to hear in just a moment from Regent Eric Krigler, Regent Lisa Rudolph. I think Dr. Don Tharp was going to be here. I don't see Don. Trey Book, Regent Book, is our student body president and SGA president and student regent. Regent Phil Schooley, our staff regent. Dr. Melanie Schimberger, our faculty regent. Help me thank all these individuals for what they do for Murray State. hopefully I did not miss anyone. On March 1st, this year, March 1st, just a few months ago, really, you heard me say a few things when introducing our new Director of Athletics, Kevin Saul. And those several things I'm going to read out to you in just a moment, but they were important to our Board of Regents, they're important to me, they're important to Murray State University, they're important to you, and they were important to our search committee. These were guiding principles in our new Director of Athletics. These are the same guiding principles that helped in this search process too. And I'm going to read those to you. And we wrote these down several months ago, and Kevin and I had a chance to revisit these in the last few weeks. Success in the classroom. Success on the field and court. Someone who will do their job with the highest level of integrity. Someone who understands the needs of our student athletes. I've given so many talks today, I'm going to drop paper. Someone who has a record of achievement and can build our program to a new, higher level. Someone who has passion and enthusiasm. You can't buy it and you can't replace it. Someone who understands our long and successful history at Murray State University. And finally, someone who understands the role and importance of our fans, alumni, and friends. Again, these were used as we talked about the next head coach for football here at Murray State. During the past few weeks, there's been an extensive search process. I know you're going to hear about that from Mr. Saul and Regent Krigler in just a moment. But we found the right person. And I want to be the first to welcome Coach Dean Hood and his family, his wife Crystal, I met just a moment ago. And let's give them their first of probably 4 or 5 rounds of applause that they're going to receive. I've had a chance to talk a great deal with Coach Hood over the last couple of weeks. And I want to say this, I'm impressed, I'm very pleased, I'm extremely thrilled regarding the future of our football program at Murray State University. We had commencement today, and I think we had 756 graduates. And so if I don't shake your hand later, it's because my hand's a little sore right now as we shook a lot of hands going across stage today. But we're also going through commencement here. So commencement's not the end, but a beginning. We've made a commitment. Our board has supported that commitment of investments to enhance Racer football at Murray State, a commitment to success in all areas. We're very excited about the days and weeks and months ahead for Racer football. I'd like to introduce Regent Eric Krigler. He's chair of our athletics committee. He's been involved in each step of this process. He's not only a regent, he's a friend, he's an alum. He loves Murray State in every respect. He loves athletics here in total, not only because he played on the field, he knows how important it is to this university, as I do and as our board does. But he's played at the highest level. And I appreciate you, Eric, and I appreciate all that you do for Murray State University. And please welcome Regent Eric Krigler.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. I just want to take a moment and thank you for your leadership. There's a lot of great things going on at this university. If you guys have been paying attention, and a lot of that is directly to your leadership. I'm not so sure that we have the news that we have today and how great that is without that. So I'd like to thank you. I'd also like to just also thank Coach Hood's family. You know, I know Crystal hasn't been here since a number of years ago when Dean was on the other sideline, and so we're excited that you're here and going to be rooting for us. And you know, the kids haven't been here probably since they can remember, so we appreciate everything that you're doing to come here and allow your dad to take on this new challenge. So I was asked to speak because I have kind of these two unique perspectives. One as a member of the Board of Regents, and then secondly, as a former player and alumnus of Murray State University. And so, you know, when you think about those two roles, as a regent, when you're thinking, you have that hat on, you're thinking about what you want in a head football coach. You want somebody who's gonna
play by the rules. They're going to treat their players and coaches with respect. They're going to make sure their student athletes take their academics seriously, that they're going to recruit and develop people that are going to be good citizens on campus and in the community. And I'm happy to report that on all those metrics, when we've looked back at Coach Hood's career, he comes out, he's worked on character education for the young men under his control for decades. And so it's exciting to have somebody here who's in alignment with the mission of the university. And obviously we want to be competitive, but those things are also very important to us. And as a regent, that's key with all these folks here. Secondly, some people may ask, as Board of Regent, why is it important that football do well, or why is football important? And some of the things I would point to, are the recruitment of various students to campus. So obviously, you have the players. I met a few of the players earlier, and we're talking with them. But you have the racerettes and the cheerleaders and equipment managers and trainers and the awesome members of the racer band back there, and all these people that's part of the student experience for them to be here. But it's not just people that are directly associated with the football program. I mean, there's a reason that family weekend is always on a football weekend. There's a buzz around campus. It's a big event. And so it not only adds to student life, it adds to the recruitment. And if you think about it, 5 or 6 of the biggest events on campus every year are the home football games that we have. And we use those to recruit other students across campus. And we know that if we get a prospective student on our campus, we have a great opportunity to convert them to be a racer for life. And so these are areas that can pull people in from the community onto our campus and help feed the lifeblood of the university. Also, it's a way our alumni stay connected to the university. Many of the alumni stay connected through following the sports teams. Our biggest alumni function all year is homecoming every year. Our alumni, they relish coming back on a beautiful fall Saturday afternoon in Murray, Kentucky. They want to see their friends in Tent City, and they love clearing the track for Racer 1, and they want to see a win. And there's nothing wrong with that, and they want to be competitive, and that's fine, and that connects us to our future in terms of prospective students, and it connects us to our past in terms of alumni. Now, that kind of brings me to my second perspective as a former football player. I want to see Murray State. I want to see Murray State competitive. I want to see Murray State win championships. And, if you had asked me a few weeks ago and told me, well, we're going to hire a head football coach that's a coordinator at an SEC program, and he's been a defensive coordinator in the ACC, and he's been to 6 bowl games, I would have been very pleased. If you said, well, maybe not that, maybe we'll hire somebody with 8 years of head coaching experience who's won 2 conference championships, led his team to the FCS playoffs 3 times, 70% winning percentage in their conference, been coach of the year in his league for the region, 2-time nominated national coach of the year finalist. Man, I'd been very excited, and if furthermore you said, well, no, we're going to have somebody who knows how to win in your league, who knows the recruiting area that you need to be successful, and has built multi-year relationships with those high school coaches that are going to be the lifeblood of recruiting. Man, I've been quite enthusiastic about that too. And here we are today, and we have a coach that embodies all 3 of those profiles. I'd have been happy with any one of those. And so I'm just enthusiastic and thrilled about that. I'm also happy that Kevin gave me limited time. I think I'm kind of out of adjectives. I was a math major, not an English major, so I can only go so deep there. But I'm ecstatic about where we ended up in the search. I'm excited about the future of Racer football. I'm excited about the future of our university. And so, to me, the real credit in this search goes to the gentleman I'm about to introduce, our athletics director, Kevin Saul. Kevin ran a very professional, a very thorough, and a very thoughtful search to find the best candidate out there, and I think we came out with that. And I'm also thrilled about Kevin's leadership in the athletic department, and I just feel like today's a great day to be a Racer, and just join me in welcoming Kevin Saul. Go Racers.
Thank you so much, Eric. You can tell why it's very easy to be passionate about being here and helping to lead our athletics program with such great people. So it's an honor to be with you all today. Special day for Murray State University and our athletics department and football program. Each search process is unique, and it really takes a village to navigate through such a successful and efficient process. And so I want to spend a few moments, if I can, thanking some folks that have been really key in this search process. I want to thank, obviously, our president, Dr. Jackson, has been unbelievably supportive for many months prior to my arrival and 9 months since I've been here. And I could not ask to work with a better president in this position, so I appreciate his leadership. Again, Athletic Committee Chair and Regent Eric Krigler, thank you so much. Eric is a rock for me, somebody that I can call and bounce ideas off of, and some of them are good and some of them are not. He'll tell me when they're not, and I certainly appreciate that. But appreciate that relationship to our Board of Regents, many of whom are here today. Thank you so much for your support. I also want to thank Vice President Jackie Dudley and her team, the Human Resources staff, Joyce and Courtney, Haley, just do an unbelievable job and been very, very supportive. Our University Counsel, Rob Miller, Executive Director of Development, Tina Bernat, who's here somewhere today. So appreciate her setting all this up. And our Director of Alumni, Carrie McGinnis, who's been very, very supportive of all of our programs. So quite frankly, there's too many to thank, but these processes can be a little complicated. And I really appreciate the leadership and support of the university administration, who allows us to do the things that we need to do in order to be successful. So I would be remiss if we didn't also thank our athletic staff, many of which are here today. They've got after it pretty hard the last few weeks, and I'm certainly appreciative of them for putting all this together, particularly at the end of the semester as we're trying to get to graduation day and all those great things that go on at this time of year. So I also want to thank those who have absolute passion and heart for our program, who've been most helpful during the search process. Their guidance and counsel has been invaluable. Mike Godfrey, Frank Beamer, Houston Nutt, Bud Foster, the list goes on, and I was blessed to build some relationships and talk with those folks throughout this process. Former players, former assistant coaches, administrators, and successful head coaches from all over the country. This process has reinforced how truly special the Murray community, Murray State University, and this program is to many, many people. We've said from the outset we want to build a program. We're not interested in only assembling a team that can win us some games. We intend to build a program in which our community can be proud. Our university administration has taken significant steps over the last few years to place this program on a path towards success. And it will take a unified community to build this program, and many of you are here today. Collective support from our administration, season ticket holders, alumni, donors will also help us to make necessary investments in our people, in our facilities, and the student-athlete experience. Most importantly, the student-athlete experience. As you know, we're involved in a comprehensive facility master planning process, and you've heard some information about that to identify our direction with respect to future facilities. On Monday, we will announce the Clear the Track campaign, which is a bold new vision for Murray State football. We will combine new football revenues that have been generated from private dollars, season tickets, premium seating sales, concessions, and 4-year pledges obtained via the Clear the Track campaign as further investment in our football program. Our goal through the Clear the Track campaign is to generate $250,000 in new, again, private annual funds invested in the football program as we effort to match resources to expectations while we build this program. We are pleased to announce we've received commitments totaling nearly 1/3 of that goal during the quiet phase of that Clear the Track campaign. So many thanks to those who are supporting. Many thanks to those who are supporting us and joining us on that journey. A little bit about the search. So we entered the search with an ideal profile in mind. We were looking for a true partnership in our effort to build a program. We were looking for a leader of men, a proven head coach who knows exactly what success looks like at every depth of detail. We received strong national interest throughout the entire process. One candidate that separated himself early and was the clear choice at each and every progressive step in that process was Dean Hood. Personally, Coach Hood is a man of character and integrity. He's strong in his faith and believes passionately in the importance of family throughout the program. His wonderful family is with us today, and I'm so excited to meet you all today and look forward to building that relationship. So Crystal, Jada, Corey, Davin, and Trey, you are a part of our family, and we are so appreciative to be a part of yours. So welcome once again. Competitively, Coach Hood brings with him an intense desire to lead this program and a wealth of experience building highly successful football programs at both the NCAA Division I FCS and FBS levels throughout a 30-year career. Coach Hood has 8 years of successful head coaching experience in the Ohio Valley Conference. His teams compiled a 44-19 OVC record, 2 conference championships, and 3 NCAA tournament selections in those 8 years. Twice, Coach Hood has served as a successful coordinator at the Power 5 level, defensive coordinator at Wake Forest, and special teams at the University of Kentucky. At each Power 5 stop, Coach Hood's teams achieved historic success, earning Wake Forest their first ACC championship in 36 years and Kentucky their 4th 10-win season in the history of their program. As a recruiter, Coach Hood's philosophy aligns with Murray State's vision for student recruitment, and Regent Krigler alluded to that. He's from the area in Ashtabula, Ohio. He's recruited the state of Kentucky and our region that I would describe as the Ohio Valley Mid-South Southeast region. Okay? He visits an overwhelming majority of the high schools in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and this region annually. Coach Hood is exactly the ambassador we want representing our institution and football program. Finally, Coach Hood's philosophy and detailed plan for the whole person development is really what won me over. It's as comprehensive and robust a plan as I've seen in my 20-year career. I'm incredibly excited to support, witness, and experience the growth the young men within our program will in the days and months ahead. Coach Hood and I share a vision for development of young men as students, persons, players, and eventually professionals, developing leaders of character, competence, and consequence, not only for football and game day Saturdays, but the 40-plus years of life beyond football. Without further delay, please join me in a warm welcome as we introduce the head coach for our Murray State University program, Dean Hood.
Well, one thing I don't know about, I know a lot of things about Kevin, but one thing I don't know is about his geography. You know, with Ashtabula being close by and, you know, all the directional things right there, I'm not too sure. But there was a guy that was, you know, he's preparing for a speech, and he was shaving in the morning, getting ready, and, you know, he's really focusing on his speech and shaving, and he cuts himself. And, you know, he does like a lot of us men in the crowd here have done. You know, got a cut, and so I put a piece of tissue on there, and you know that's gonna get it done. But you know, it didn't get it done. It just kept bleeding. So finally, you know, he puts a Band-Aid on there because he got to get ready to put his put his shirt on, got to get ready to put his tie on. He's going to get blood on it. It's like, okay, I got to put a Band-Aid on there. So he puts a Band-Aid on there. I'll take it off later. And he gets dressed, drives to where he's got to speak, and he forgets all about that Band-Aid being on there. And he gets up and starts talking, and rather lengthy speech. I mean, really, really lengthy speech. And he gets done, and he says, "Hey, has anybody got any questions?" And there was a young boy about Davin's age, and in the crowd. And by the way, it's Davin's birthday today. Yeah, so let's give him a shout out. But he asked, "Hey, is there any questions?" And a guy about Davin's age is in the crowd, and he says, "Yeah." He says, "I got a question." He says, "Yeah, what is it, young man?" He says, "Well," he goes, "what happened to your face?" And the guy was like, "Oh gosh, sorry, I forgot to take that off." He takes it off. He says, well, he goes, "I was shaving this morning, and I was really, really focusing on my speech, and I cut my face." And he said, "Well, next time you ought to focus on your face and cut your speech." So I'm going to keep it short, but there's a few things I'd really like to talk about. And I know Dave said we're going to have questions at the end there, so I want to keep some time for that. But first thing is perspective. I might move around. Is that okay a little bit? I might stay right here between. But first thing is perspective. We're going to have a goal of winning an OVC championship at Murray. That's going to be our goal. Nobody's going to work harder at that than us. We will not be outworked in that goal, but that's our goal. We got a different purpose. Our purpose is to use football as a platform to raise up authentic men, and that's a big difference. Again, goal, purpose, two different things, but that's going to be our perspective. Guys are going to play football 4 or 5 years. They're going to be men for, Kevin talked about 40, and it might be more like 50, 70, I hope. I'm getting up there in age, 56, so I start thinking a little differently. But they're going to be men for a lot longer. And for us to be short-sighted and say we're just going to teach them football, we're not going to help them grow into being an authentic man using football as that platform, then I think we're missing a boat. This is my 33rd year coaching, 33 years. I've never had a kid call me up that's 5 years out, 10 years out, 15 years out and say, "Hey, coach, thanks for teaching me how to backpedal." I never get that phone call. So we really got to be intentional with the things that we do beyond football. Don't get me wrong, we're gonna win a championship. We're gonna do everything we need to do that, but we're gonna have the right perspective. We're gonna have some fun. Mac Brown talked about that. I was down there with Max Duffy. We were fortunate to have a guy win the Ray Guy Award, and I was down there in Atlanta. And Mac Brown, the guy that got a second chance at being a head coach after Watts, what he talked about. Got to have some fun, and that's got to be in there. That's the reason we all got in this thing, right? Got some former players here. The reason we got in this thing from the beginning is it's fun. So we got to keep it fun for the guys. We got to have the right perspective. How are we gonna achieve this? Well, first of all, it starts with a coach. I love that movie, We Are Marshall, and that's clip where the plane crashed and the president's distraught. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And a player comes to see him. He says, "Hey, it starts with a coach." And I think it starts with getting guys partnered in as far as assistant coaches. And over the years, I've proven that I'm smarter than my assistant coaches by hiring guys smarter than me. And working on that right now, we're going to get some really intelligent guys. But beyond that, they're going to be guys that are going to model, mentor, and monitor. They're going to model for our players. They're going to be a sermon in shoes. They're going to be showing them what it looks like to be an authentic man. They're going to have their wives around and show our players what it's like, how you should treat your wife. They're going to have their kids around, and they're going to show our players this is how you treat your children. They're going to mentor. Mentoring is all about time. It takes time in any sport. Distance increases air. Trey was involved in archery as a junior high kid. Right now he's got the goal of he wants to kill a turkey with a bow. So if there's anybody that can help us in that regard, let me know. But, distance increases air in any sport, and if he's 5 yards away, 10 yards away, man, he can hit a pattern that's like that. He starts to get 30 yards away, that thing starts to get bigger. So we got to be close to these guys. We got to spend time with them and mentor them. And then we got to monitor them. We don't want to just graduate them out of the program. We want to send them out into the world equipped to be a good dad, to be a good husband, to be a good leader in his community, be a good neighbor. You know, we want to send them out into the world equipped, and we want to be like, you know, the parents are that are dropping their kids off at college. You know, they don't drop them off and say, hey, you know, good luck. They're a phone call away. They're calling, checking on them, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a postgraduate program and be connected to our players beyond Murray. And then we got to recruit the right players. You know, I know there's a ton of right players already here on our campus, already on the roster. Our model, you know, for recruiting will be CAF. You know, Coach Stoops talks all the time about recruit and develop. Well, we're going to recruit character, academics, and football, and then we're going to develop character, academics, and football. And we'll be intentional with our recruiting. We have a sheet that all of our coaches will use talking to a high school coach on the phone or going out to the high schools, and it's got those things written on it, character, academics, and football. And they're going to ask them specific questions to that high school coach. Just spent 4 or 5 years with that young man and knows him better than anybody. And we're going to ask him, as far as character, hey, is this kid dependable? Is he trustworthy? Does he have a great work ethic? And is he coachable? And then the area of academics. Is this kid a kid that's going to go to class? Is he going to go to study hall? Will he respond to tutoring? Do the teachers like him? And then as far as football, Coach, tell me about his IQ, his football IQ. Tell me about his instincts. Is he mentally tough? I mean, is he a competitor? Is he a guy that wants the game to come to him when it's on the line? Is he physically tough? Okay, not is he injured. You know, we're not going to play an injured player, but when he's hurt, when he's got a little, you know, thumbnail, when it's cold outside, is he a guy that's tough? Is he physically tough? And then the most important question as far as the area of football is, does he love the game? Does he love the game? So that's going to be our recruiting model, and then we're going to develop in those areas. In the area of character, you know, we're going to start with a set of core values. Our core values for our Murray State football team will be to tell the truth, to be a gentleman, and to love your brother. Part of character development is correction. We're going to do everything right all the time. If we don't, we're going to get it corrected. We're going to get it made up. You know, discipline is not something you do to somebody. It's something you do for somebody. And if you love them, you're going to discipline them. We're going to have leadership training. And we do leadership training every class. Every class. You can't train your freshmen and your seniors the same. We'll have freshman, sophomore, junior, senior leadership training that'll be led by the coaches that are specific to their age group. I think character development is a part of community engagement. You know, Kevin talked about, you got Soup for Souls here. Guys have done stuff with Special Olympics, reading in elementary schools. I think it's really important to get out and engage the community. You'll see our football team. We'll be out there. We'll have campus involvement. We'll be involved on campus. Does it snow here in Murray? Okay, so we'll be out clearing cars for people. We'll be out walking around campus collecting up garbage. We'll partner with ROTC. I've talked to Kevin about some things that I would like to do. We'll partner with the fraternities. We'll come to the other the other games of our other sports. We'll be around. You'll see us on the campus. You'll see us in the community. In the area of academics, okay, in the area of academics, the thing that we will really focus on, you know, first of all, we'll partner with our academic people, okay? But the things we'll really focus on, the kids that we're recruiting academically and the kids that are already in our roster, I'm sure that they can handle college work, okay? They can handle it. But the thing where we really got to focus our attention is going to class and completing your assignments on time. That's the two things. Go to class. We got to go to class. So that's a thing that we will be committed to as a staff and hold our guys accountable to, is going to class and completing their work on time. And then in the area of football, you know, offense, defense, special teams will have a four-pronged approach. You know, first is no gifts. We'll focus on the things that we can control. We don't want to give them anything that's easy. You know, and we're talking about, you know, mental errors, loafs, penalties. That'll be the things that we'll focus on. I'm not necessarily concerned about the scheme. You know, you can be successful, you know, 3-3, 4-3, 3-4, offense, throw it around the lot, option. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm not necessarily concerned about what we do. I'm concerned about how we do it. How we do it. And that's talking about no gifts. That's talking about don't flinch. That's our second emphasis. Don't flinch. We want to create guys where we respond to adversity and respond in critical moments rather than react. And so we'll put our guys in those situations. We'll have them compete every single day in practice. The third thing, as far as football, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, the ball's the issue. Offensively, you got the ball in your hand, you got the program in your hand. So we will work on fundamentals of protecting the football. On defense, it's just the opposite. We got to take that thing away. So we'll work on the fundamentals of taking the football away with turnover circuits and the things we do on a daily basis. And the last thing is finish. Okay, the fourth part of offense, defense, special teams is everything you do is finish. We're going to finish every drill, every meeting, every segment of practice. We'll work hard with our guys on finishing. Okay, now here's the hard part. You think I'm talking fast now? I'm going to talk really fast on this last part, and that's the thank yous. Because if I slow it down, I'm going to get emotional. Talking about these people, and then you're going to wonder what the heck did these guys do? Hire this guy, he's up there sobbing, and he can't talk, and he's the guy supposed to be leading our program. So I'm going to go really, really fast. The first thing I'm going to say is I'm off the hook a little bit because I'm just going to say I'm thanking all the guys that Dr. Jackson and Kevin thanked on their sheet. So that's already on the sheet. All right. So that already counts. So all the guys that they thanked and recognized, I'm already adding to that. And so if I miss anybody, it's their fault. I'm throwing them under the bus. But first I want to thank God. He knitted me together in my mother's womb. He's been at my side my whole life and throughout this whole process. My mom and dad, Debbie and Ralph, my brother and two sisters, Dave, Terry, and Betty, my bride, Crystal, my kids, Trey, Jada, Corey, and Davin, all the assistant coaches that I've worked with that have really influenced me, and the players. You know, Kevin had a resume and talked about all these things. None of that happens without the grace of God and the players that have played for me and the coaches that I've coached with. All the head coaches that I've worked under. Mike Foley, the late Wally Hood, Rich Rodriguez, Roy Kidd, Jim Grobe, Brad Lambert, and Mark Stoops. Murray State Administration, the board, President Jackson, Kevin Saul. I'd like to thank all you guys. I talked about God's been with me throughout this process, even to throughout all of it, and to the very end. I was in Atlanta with Max Duffy, like I said. I get an Uber driver, and there's a book on the dash, and I say, hey, what's the book you're reading? Well, she hands it to me. It's a Joyce Meyer devotional. And I'm going to Atlanta, and Kevin's sending me the contract. I got to sign the contract. And then there's no turning back, there. So I read this devotional, and this devotional really reminded me that it's impossible to please God without faith. And that's what that devotional reminded me of. And that brought me to my kids. When my kids were little, I'd put them up on something, something high, for their age. I wasn't sadistic, but it was something high for their age, and I would say, hey, jump to daddy, jump to daddy, and they would lean and they would reach, and it's impossible to please God without faith. The one that was all in all the time was that blonde bombshell right there on the front row. Anybody remember Superfly Jimmy Snuka? We got some old guys in here. The World Wrestling Federation. Who remember? There we go. Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Okay? That was Jada. There was no leaning, there was no reaching. She would just jump. And it was beautiful. I loved it. And that's really what we need. I'm going to ask some assistant coaches. There's a lot of people in this room that's made that jump. There's a lot. And I'm going to ask even more people, the assistant coaches that we're fixing to bring in, the current players, to trust me and jump, the guys we're recruiting, Murray State football alumni, just all of Racer Nation. Just make that jump with us. Go Racers. All right. Hey, now I see you with that mic, so that means you're going around. So this only people that pitch softballs. That nice.
Okay, well, step up to the plate, Coach.
Nice love.
Thank you, Coach Hood. We do have a couple members of our media here. We're going to start with Blake Bernier from the Murray Ledger and Times.
Hi, Coach Hood. Welcome to Murray.
Thank you.
My question for you is, what attracted you to this job at Murray State in the first place?
this guy sitting right here, you know, his passion, his vision, like he talked about, I just felt from the beginning like we were meshed as far as, you know, our purpose, our goal and our purpose. The goal of winning OVC championship, but the purpose of using football as a platform to build authentic men. I mean, I felt that from the beginning, and he's what drew me to the job.
And then Ed Marlowe here from the Paducah Sun.
Coach, welcome to Murray.
Thanks.
Since 2002, Murray State football has 3 winning seasons. What is your vision for the program, and how do you plan on changing it sooner rather than later?
You know, it's a process. You know, you've got to trust the process. And do we want to come in and you know, make great strides in year one? Absolutely, without question. You know, our goal is not going to be, hey, let's win a championship in 10 years. You know, we're committed to it. But it's a process. The kids have to trust the process. The coach has to trust the process. Everybody has to trust the process and step by step work towards that goal.
And then, Coach, just one last one here, maybe just your message to recruits that you're going to be visiting here very, very soon, and then maybe your first impressions of Racer One outside.
Hey, well, you know, the recruits, everything we just talked about. I mean, you know, that's really a recruiting pitch. You know, it's the same thing. I'm not going to say anything different sitting in a home of a player than what I'm saying right here. You know, this is Kevin's heard this at the interview, and you know, the coaches are hearing this, and you know, everybody's gonna. It's the same message. You know, so sitting in a recruit's home, he's going to hear the same thing we just talked about. And Racer One, I was fired up to meet him. I know the family was. They're animal lovers, especially Jada. You know, I asked Kevin, hey, what's the process? How do you get a chance to ride that guy? You know, around there. And I think Vegas, it is a guy, right? Okay, yeah. So how do you get to ride that, you know, guy? And he told me you got to be a senior and you know, you got all this other stuff. So it's a little bit more complicated, honey, than just. I don't think you just be the head coach's daughter and say, hey, can I ride Racer One today at the game? You know.
Thank you so much. Again, it's great to meet you and great to welcome you to Racer Nation. And thanks for everybody for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.